we're ready to begin episode 4 of season 4 of Beyond the Badge. Welcome, everyone, to this new episode, our June episode celebrating the stories from the System Daily Huddle from April. We have 20 great stories to share with you, and I just want to welcome our audience of regulars back to another episode, and to our new audience members here to support and celebrate someone who's being honored today. Welcome. I want to give you a quick preview of what this show is all about. I'm Steve Fecto. I'm from Talent Development and Learning. I'm joined backstage by some of my colleagues who help run this program, Alyssa Gianandrea, Michael Joseph, Jessica Rubin. We put on this monthly showcase in partnership with the people who are going to be reading these excellent stories. Our Mount Sinai Spotlight Committee. These are the folks who are so deeply committed to patient experience and employee experience at the various sites around our large health system of 48,000 employees, of which we're so thrilled we can share 20 unique and individual stories here today. The question many of our new audience members have is, where did these stories come from? So every single day, there is a System Daily Huddle. Our senior leadership come together to ensure we are prepared and set for a safe, high-quality day for our patients, for our colleagues across our many facilities. And as part of that huddle, they take a brief pause. They say, on a rotation, one leader has a chance to share an employee story, something that'll inspire them, to connect us to purpose, to remind us of the great work our colleagues are doing around this health system. So the stories we have were picked out by a senior member of our leadership team who said, this is the story I got to share. Sometimes they're from patient letters. Sometimes they're from our peer-to-peer recognition program called STAR, and we've captured some great ones there. They might be a unique one-time event where they said, wow, this was just, you won't believe how this person responded, and I've got to share this incredible story. Or it could be to spotlight some really great work that they wanted to call attention to and kind of shine the light on for that person. Those are the 4 categories we have for you today. They collect these stories at the huddle, and we've got to always thank Joseph Mary, Swati Garg, Hillary Polly, who run those huddles and collect the stories and get them to our committee. And we put them into this public venue where we can share them with you, their colleagues, their leaders, their teams, and even their family and friends. Who's a family member out there? We have parents, we have children, we have sisters and brothers always out in our audience cheering on someone. So go into the chat, be a part of the celebration, get in there, set it to everyone, especially those of you backstage. You might be defaulted to host and panelist. Set it to everyone and cheer, cheer, cheer throughout this event for every one of our celebrants. We got a nice size, big group out there today. All right, with that, I do want to go to our audience, and I always like to start these episodes by reminding our audience members and our celebrants that senior leadership are our regular guests. They're the ones who come month after month after month to be inspired. I'd love to call on a couple I've brought backstage already, and the first one, representing our Mount Sinai Morningside and West celebrants and our entire health system, is Dr. Tracy Breen. Dr. Breen is our interim president and chief medical officer for the Mount Sinai Morningside and Mount Sinai West campus, and one of our biggest fans and regulars. So welcome, Tracy.
Yeah, I can't even say first time caller, first time participant, right? Long time caller, long time participant. Thank you, Steve, for letting me come yet again. This is always such a great event. And as you said, you know, we have a system call every day where we talk about the most important things happening in the system. It could be really significant operational issues, emergencies, infrequently, really bad things or challenging things in the health system, but we take time every day to really recognize someone who brings the best of who we are into work. And I think I'm always so impressed with how that resonates with us as leaders, to hear the details of someone's work. And then the fact that someone recognized that and articulated that and took the time to message us, like that really, really moves me whenever I hear that. And, you know, as the leader on the West Side hospitals, I get to kind of weigh in and decide who we're going to celebrate on those calls. And it is hard. I mean, Andres is here. Sometimes it is hard to pick one. We find a way to celebrate them all, but I just really want to thank everyone for reminding all of us what it means to take great care of people. So thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Dr. Breen. I love that you found a way we find a way to celebrate them all in there. And you're right. You know, these are the things that we say, this is who we are and this is what we're about, but they don't come to life until you hear the real stories of people who show us what does We Find a Way look like. So that's why we just love these stories. Thank you so much for setting the stage for a great episode. Another leader who's one of our regulars. We always have so many stories from the very large campus at the Mount Sinai Hospital and School of Medicine campus. Let me call on our Chief Operating Officer at Mount Sinai Hospital, Jonathan Kiriakou. Welcome, Jonathan. Thanks for coming again. I'd love to give you a chance to say hello.
No, thanks for having me. And to echo Tracy, longtime caller, longtime, speaker. So thanks for having me. I actually do join every month, even when I'm not speaking, and kind of, adding to what Tracy said, we spend a lot of time here talking about the amazing talent that our HR team finds for us. But it's really, really nice. We do it daily, but even a forum like this where we can hear 20 really good stories about, the talent that we find and all the amazing things they do that are not just the job they got hired for, but be above and beyond that, right? And I think sometimes we all get so caught into our day to day that like it's really, really nice to stop and celebrate it, because like really amazing things really do happen here every day, both at my campus, both at Tracy's campus, the School of Medicine. And it's so nice to hear the stories, because it really is what we do here. So thanks for having me. Congratulations to everybody. Can't wait to hear the latest episode here of the new story. So
I know there's
congratulations to
plenty.
everybody.
Yeah, I know there's plenty to enjoy. And again, you can never get full of hearing these stories. We're always eating more. You come back month after month after month, and it's that regular dose of inspiration, like you said, to hear these real authentic stories. So thank you so much for being one of our biggest fans, Jonathan, and for setting us off on the right foot. I want to jump into our stories. We're ready to go. We've got 18 great stories to share with you. Alyssa, Michael, Jessica, they're posting things in the chat. Look for those. We've got our program. We've got our resources tab in there with some little bios about each of our celebrants. That you can find. You can find links to our program to follow along. I do want to shout out, there are a couple always who can't make it. There's conflicts. There's previously planned PTO. You can find their stories in writing. One is for Esther Kurtzner from Mount Sinai Hospital. She's a physical therapist who was recognized by a patient or recognized that a patient seemed a little off from their usual self. And she really role modeled a response to how to escalate an issue and remain by the patient's side, continuously monitoring their condition. So just that excellent response. That story is written out in the program. And another one, a beautiful patient letter for Kate Bukala Hung from Mount Sinai South Nassau, whose patient appreciated her kindness and support during her cancer screening. And when I say that the best part about this is hearing the authentic responses from our employees that you're going to hear today, Kate had a beautiful written response that you can read in there. I got to read one quote from it. She said, being diagnosed with cancer is the last thing anyone wants to hear. Your worst fears may become reality. Showing empathy, kindness, and compassion is not hard. If I can make someone laugh and forget about their distress, I have succeeded in comforting that person. One smile can turn a frown around. One hello can make a day. So thank you for that, Kate. We applaud you. Read her full story in the program. And now let's jump into our live stories. We start with the patient section. These are all from patient letters, appreciation from our patients. And I'm going to call Amy Nelson to read this first story. It's from our Mount Sinai Hospital faculty practice, and it is for Amira Khan, who, Amira, I see you have the farthest away guest from Pakistan coming to see you. Your sister is in our audience. How exciting. So, Amy, let's hear this first story.
A patient wrote to appreciate Amira Khan, a patient coordinator in otolaryngology. They write, Amira went above and beyond to assist me. She kept calling me to make sure I was aware of the appointment. She was very patient with me. At my appointment, she came and sat with me to explain all about what to expect. No one has ever done that for me, and she needs to be commended for this. Amira also recently received a star recognition from a medical administrative assistant in the practice, which stated, it is such a great pleasure to work with Amira. She was always so warm and encouraging. Her kind energy should be bottled and given away. It would make any team better. She is so patient with patients, even the difficult ones. It is wonderful to work with someone who is as caring as Amira. She may be the nicest person I have ever met, and our team is lucky to have her.
Wow, Amira. So first of all, such beautiful appreciation from two sides, from your patients and from a colleague who submitted a star recognition for you. So let me go to what your colleague said. If we were to take their advice and bottle your kindness, what would be the ingredients? How would you describe the personal approach you bring into caring for patients and your colleagues in your everyday work?
Thank you so much, everyone, for welcoming me here. And thank you so much for acknowledging my efforts, of course. So coming back to the question, to answer the question, as a patient coordinator, my approach to caring for the patients as well as the colleagues is grounded in compassion, efficiency, and of course, the clear communication. I understand that the patients are dealing with a lot of discomfort, anxiety, or uncertainty. So I make it priority to be kind and patient, of course, very, very patient and attentive from the first point of the contact. I also strive to create a welcoming and organized environment where patients feel heard, respected, and supported throughout their care journey. And if I talk about my colleagues, I strongly value about the teamwork and open communication, of course. As I work closely with the ENT physicians, their clinical team, and their finance team, I ensure that scheduling, referrals, and the follow-ups run smoothly by staying proactive, detailed-oriented, and flexible. In short, I help my entire ENT team function efficiently while maintaining a positive and respectful atmosphere. Now,
Yeah.
through this platform, I would like to thank you, my director, senior hiring manager, the senior director of otolaryngology and oral maxillofacial surgeon, Ms. Ludmila Millman, my immediate supervisor, Ms. Luisa Lopez, for amazing ongoing motivation and the support. And of course, medical administrative assistant Tamika Young for recognizing me as a star.
Oh, that's good
I
to
am
start. That's
so touched.
beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me and hope everybody have a restful Friday.
Thank you. Thank you, Amira. So I really heard a lot of empathy in how you care for your patients, but I love how you took that empathy and you also talked about efficiency and making sure that seamless coordination. You have to have both. You have to be the kindness and the compassion and the care, and you need to be professional and efficient and provide that experience that they need to get their best care. And putting that together is why you're a star. So we're so happy we could share that story, and thank you for your wonderful, wonderful thoughts. All right, Amy, you're bookending our show. We're going to come back to you for the School of Medicine at the end as well, but let's go into our next story. It's from Mount Sinai Downtown. This time, downtown leadership recognized Dr. Luis Rivera Sanchez from the Blavatnik Family Chelsea Medical Center. So I'll have Nydia Sanchez from Chelsea read this story. Hey, Nydia.
Hi, thank you, Steve. Leadership recently received a pair of accolades from patients of Dr. Luis Rivera Sanchez, a breast oncology surgeon at Blavatnik Family Chelsea Medical Center. The first states, Dr. Sanchez is one of the kindest, caring, and knowledgeable doctors I have met. He made me feel comfortable even under the most stressful circumstances. I would recommend him to anyone and everyone. And the second says, I really like Dr. Sanchez. He's very thorough and listens to my concerns and questions closely. He makes sure I understand everything. He's very knowledgeable and great at communicating things very clearly. We want to thank Dr. Sanchez for his attention to detail, compassion, and amazing communication with his patients. Congrats, Dr. Sanchez.
Thank you. We went from the nicest person we ever met to the kindest person we ever met. So, Dr. Sanchez, your patients comment on how you help them feel comfortable even under the most stressful circumstances. Could you speak to your personal approach to the patient experience that you believe makes that difference for your patients feeling more comfortable?
Sure. Well, thank you. First, thank you all for this recognition. For me, it's really an honor and basically it's a privilege to be a breast surgical oncologist and be able to transmit my knowledge and my skills into these women that are really coming to us in their most vulnerable states, anxiety, uncertainty. And so one of the key things that I do in my practice, and this is something that I learned very early in my training, is so how we can take all this complex information and to basically digest it in such a way that the person can understand what they're going through. And that way they can understand that, yes, it is a diagnosis of breast cancer, but everything will be just fine. Okay. And so for me, it's bringing that patient, quote unquote, down from the ceiling, making them feel comfortable. I listen to their beliefs. What are their fears? What's most important to them? Every patient is different. And so, and on top of that, not only the science behind it, and little things I do in my practice, like
I don't wear my white coat. I sit at the same level of the patient. I don't, I make them feel comfortable in that scenario so that when they go home, they say, yeah, the doctor explained all of this to me, but it gave me the impression that there's light at the end of all this. And so that's how I practice, and that's how I do my thing.
I love that insight. Not only did you first start about how do I make this digestible, this information, really thinking about your word choice, but then thinking of all those other even physical, features like wearing the coat versus not wearing the coat, sitting down versus standing, that those impact how communication is delivered and how it's received. So that thoughtfulness is a really incredible insight. Really, thank you so much. We're so glad we got to share this story.
Thank you, everyone, and congratulations to everybody else.
Thank you, Dr. Sanchez. Next up, I heard Grace just made it. Grace Tesoriero is here. Mount Sinai Morningside Ambulatory recognized Grace. I love this story, Grace. We're going to have Andres Morera, I believe, up for the next two from Morningside and then West right after. So, Andres, there we go. There's Grace. And let's take it away.
Absolutely, and congratulations to all the celebrants today. So a recent patient shared their experience with Grace, a truly outstanding nurse practitioner at our Mount Sinai Morningside Palliative Care Medicine and Geriatrics Department. They said, I came in experiencing a great deal of pain and was angry at everyone I encountered because I could just not manage it anymore. But Grace treated me as if she could feel exactly what I was going through. Her presence was calming, and just being with her made me feel better. I was truly blessed to have seen her that day. This patient encounter is one of many that speak to Grace's ability to bring comfort and connection during moments of deep vulnerability. Grace approaches each patient with genuine empathy, clinical excellence, and unwavering dedication. She does not just treat symptoms, she connects with people on a human level. Grace is the kind of provider every patient hopes for: attentive, kind, thorough, and deeply committed to making a difference. Congratulations, Grace.
Thank you.
Andres, Grace, great to see you. A colleague also commented, in addition to this, that it's a privilege to work alongside you and that your actions are a daily reminder of the power of compassionate care. How would you describe the style of compassionate care that you aim to deliver and the impact that you see that approach have on your patients?
This is my, I think, 14th year here in Mount Sinai Morningside. So I think, and then I got very overwhelmed already with the recognition from my coworkers and from my patients. So I just treated my patient as my own family. So I think like I've found my place. This is my home, and my coworkers are my family, and my patients are my family as well.
Really wonderful, Grace. I got to share, I did New Beginnings orientation for our newest employees, not you 14 years, but people on day one. And this week I did it and I shared your story as a We Find a Way example. And I said, it's not just the medical breakthroughs we're making in our research labs, but it's on an individual basis. Here we had a patient who said she was angry at everyone she encountered because couldn't manage the pain anymore. And you found a way to help that person have a different experience. And that's a We Find a Way story too. I thought it was just beautiful. And I love your story. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Grace. Andre, stick right with us. We're going on to the next stories for a pair of people at Mount Sinai West. Let's bring Cindy Bartholomew and Isabel Diaz up for this story from a patient that recognized both. All right. Do we have them backstage? I didn't see them before the show. My team, let me know. All right, Andres, why don't you go ahead and we don't have them backstage. All right, Andres, come back. We're going to hold on just in case Cindy and Isabel can get here. All right, we're going to come back to you. I know you got more stories to come a little later on. Cindy is here. Let's make sure we get Cindy backstage. We'll come back to that story in a moment. But let's go on to Colette. Why don't you come on up? We got another pair. Simone Muller and Francesca Sosnowski are here. They were recognized by pharmacy leadership, and they work at Mount Sinai Hospital. So I'll have Colette come on up and read this story. Hello again, Francesca.
Amazing. Thank you, Steve, and congratulations to all the celebrants. So our story reads, the family member of a highly allergic patient delivering her first baby at Mount Sinai Hospital expressed appreciation for the exceptional efforts of pharmacists Simone Muller and Francesca Sosnowski. The potential for an anaphylactic reaction to eggs and dairy necessitated extraordinary attention to detail to mitigate the risk of a catastrophic event. They worked collaboratively to obtain a comprehensive list of potential drugs and then conducted an exhaustive search to ensure she would not be exposed to medications containing the allergens of concern. The patient's mother writes, quote, "Their attention to detail and passion for doing right by my daughter is noteworthy and commendable, especially as the very comprehensive list they produced clearly reflected hours of painstaking work. She carried this list in her go bag, and I can testify that it was an extensive and clearly coded, leaving no room for error," end quote. Our pharmacy team takes great pride in Simone and Francesca's outstanding dedication, professionalism, meticulous attention to detail, and unwavering commitment to safety. Their actions helped ensure a safe delivery for a high-risk patient and peace of mind for a family during a vulnerable and emotional time.
Yeah, thank you, Colette. And I wanted to go to the both of you here to comment on this story, to hear this message from a family member about the work that you did and what it meant to them. And if you could just speak to your shared commitment to patient safety and how that commitment guided you in your actions to this specific story.
Well, Simone and I have been working together directly for about 3 years now, and I think that Simone is an absolutely incredible mentor and has been helping instill a commitment to the medication safety aspect of the patient care experience. So I think that I'm just really grateful for her mentorship and guidance in this process. And I think I just put myself in the position of the patient, and I want to make sure that I have that comprehensive care and attention to detail and the medication part of the care that sometimes gets overlooked in the patient experience.
Yeah,
I'm
wonderful.
appreciative of the recognition. And
Yeah.
Simone?
Thanks. Yeah, Simone, did you have anything to add? Love the approach to safety.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that there is no person to do what we had to do. So, we worked together, and Francesca's super organized. So we worked together, putting everything that we needed to do. It took weeks of time. And again, we think about if this was our mother or sister or brother, we would want the same hope that the same thing would happen. And we have full confidence in our whole pharmacy team that they would also pull together. And we did have help from other people to do it. And we just try our best to make medication use safe and effective. And in this particular circumstance, somebody's coming in to deliver a baby. We really want that, it's a joyous occasion. We didn't want her to suffer an allergic reaction. So we did everything we could and did all the investigation that needed to be done against the odds of pharma, which was not helpful. We were able to put together the information and make her stay safe in the hospital. And that actually is a joy in itself, that we were able to prevent harm in a patient.
Yeah. Wow. And thank you for those extra details, that it was, a few weeks of planning, and that this isn't a role. This isn't something that's already done here by a person, that you had to really be proactive and thoughtful and creative to ensure this. And obviously an excellent, excellent result. So glad we got to share this one. Thank you, Francesca and Simone. All right, I'm going to go back. I've got word from my team that Cindy is here. We got her backstage. We're ready to go. Andres, can you come on back for me? We've got Cindy Bartholomew here, I believe, is our solo member with Isabel Diaz, not able to make it. But there's Cindy. We got you. And let's bring Andres up to share this story for Cindy and Isabel.
Wonderful. So a patient's friend recognized PCA Cindy and nurse Isabel, writing, "My friend was released from Mount Sinai West inpatient psychiatric unit after an incredibly difficult 11-night stay. Throughout her stay, small acts of warmth and kindness became invaluable, sometimes the difference between holding on or giving up. Cindy stood out for her kindness, understanding, and patience. She treated the people in those visiting sessions not just as patients, but as fragile human beings. Her presence made everyone feel a little safer, and I can't thank her enough for that. And then there's Isabel, who brought light into that place the moment she walked in. Her kindness was so genuine and so powerful that at times I forgot she was a medical professional and saw her as a true friend. Isabel went above and beyond to make my friend feel safe. Since her discharge, we both have realized we will actually miss her. Thank you, Isabel. I hope you know the power inside you. I hope you'll seriously consider giving both Cindy and Isabel the recognition they deserve. There's a very real chance my friend might have given up without both of their kindness."
And wow, what a powerful end statement that is to hear from this patient's friend. And Cindy, first off, congratulations. We want to honor what this friend asked for, that we seriously consider recognizing you, and leadership did right away to share this story on the System Daily Huddle. And we're so glad we get to see you, and would love to hear, what is it you strive to bring to not just this story, but every patient and family experience that you think makes the biggest difference and leads to stories and results such as this?
It's always a pleasure coming to work every day with such a lovely, engaging team, ensuring my patients get the quality care and the great experience being here on the psych unit.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Cindy. Hear the joy that you bring into your work, and recognizing first it's part of the team, the joy you have with this team to do it together, and we'll hit my teamwork value right there, and then how that then translates into how you care for your patients in that space, and creating this beautiful space on your unit is just wonderful to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. And thank you, Andres. We got a couple more for you a little later on, but we're going to go into our next section, which is our Stories of Excellence section. We've got two stories. These are these one-time events that were really special that someone wanted to share. And the first is from leadership at New York Eye and Ear. They recognize Lori Singer. So let's bring Lori, and our speaker for New York Eye and Ear is Christine Pescator. We'll bring her up to share this story. Hey, Christine.
Hello, thank you, Steve, and congratulations to all our celebrants today. Technology coordinator Lori Singer has been an instrumental part of our Ear Institute family for 15 years. Her attention to detail and proactive nature are demonstrated daily in support of her colleagues and our hearing impaired patients we serve. One of the many examples of Lori's dedication was when a pediatric patient arrived as a walk-in, unable to hear with a missing and broken cochlear implant equipment. Lori stepped in, no questions asked, unpacked all the patient's equipment, and did a great deal of troubleshooting to get the patient's cochlear implants working again. It required a forward-thinking approach and dedication. Lori always shows sensitivity, compassion, and immense care for our Ear Institute patients. Thank you, Lori, for your consistent hard work, passion, and unwavering dedication. We are grateful to you.
Yeah, thanks, Christine. Lori, that's a We Find a Way story. For this patient, you were going to find a way. Use your creativity, ensure success for this patient. I also noted in this one story, leadership commented on your dedication 4 times within this short story. So how would you describe the dedication that you feel and you bring into caring for patients in the Ear Institute?
Well, first, I'd like to thank everyone for this recognition, but what makes it different is that I am deaf and I have a cochlear implant. So when somebody comes in and can't hear, I know what that's like. And to not have any sound when somebody else can help you out kind of is just not acceptable to me or to anybody else who works here. So I think that the Ear Institute at Mount Sinai sets themselves apart from all the other cochlear implant centers in New York because we really put the patient absolutely in the front. We'll do whatever we have to do to get them back to hearing if possible. And I think that we go way beyond what other places do. And I've had plenty of experience with other places.
Wow. Wow, Lori, I think we have the best ear clinic that we can have in New York because of you. And to have that level of empathy that you really understand and are so committed to helping others that have the same condition that you have and live with, how much that must give them hope and comfort in knowing that they're being cared for by someone who really understands is remarkable.
They definitely, when I talk to somebody who is looking at a cochlear implant, nobody can imagine what it's like to have hearing and then lose hearing unless you've been through it.
Yeah.
And it's really, really a difficult situation, and we're able to help most people.
Wow. What an incredible story and insight, and to hear and meet you, Lori. It is an absolute honor and a pleasure. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Christine. Okay, our next story of excellence, and that was a real wow to start us off. Asha Cox is next from Mount Sinai, Queens. Zachary Key, I think you got the next 2. We're headed out to Mount Sinai, Queens. This is a really, really wonderful story for Asha. All right, let's bring Zach up and let's hear.
Thank you. It's my honor to get to read this story because it's such an incredible story. So everyone get your tissues ready. So on a recent Friday morning, 40 East nurse manager Asha Cox took the time to check in on a nurse on her unit who had not been feeling well earlier in the week. What started out as a brief call turned into a life-saving intervention. As soon as she heard her colleague's voice, Asha immediately noticed something was wrong. She picked up on subtle cues, changes in tone, hesitation, and slurred speech that signaled a serious issue. Recognizing the signs of a possible medical emergency, Asha quickly alerted her fellow nurse managers and acted quickly. She searched for the employee's address and immediately contacted 911 to ensure help was dispatched as soon as possible. While on speakerphone, Asha calmly guided her colleague, instructing her to unlock the door for emergency services if she could do so safely, lie on her floor to prevent injuries from a fall, and three-way call was successfully made to ensure the family was informed and involved. Throughout it all, Asha remained calm, offering comfort and reassurance until finally Asha heard the sound of emergency responders entering the home. Asha's actions that day were nothing short of heroic. Her selflessness, expertise, and unwavering commitment to the well-being of others exemplify the very best of nursing. Asha, you're a true lifesaver, and we're beyond grateful for you.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. And, Asha, first off, your angelic instincts to make that call, to say, like, I have a staff member who wasn't well, let me call to check on them. And that instinct, being able to create this moment and story is amazing. And then, your actions, they're not only remarkable, but they're a great lesson for us to all. I was reading the story and saying, well, I wouldn't have known to tell them to unlock the door and then to lay down to prevent a fall. So I'm wondering if you can share with us and teach us a bit about what you experienced in this moment and the key lessons that we can all take away from this life-saving example.
Wow, thank you, everyone. I think some of the core lessons to make sure that I remember my journey through Mount Sinai as a leader. Some of the values and some of the core things that I was taught was to always make sure you understand your employees, make sure you get to know your employees. If you don't see an employee at work, make sure you know why. Contact your employees and get to know the background behind certain things. Because there will be a day when they will come for you for basic things and basic needs, and you have to be able to help them. And this was my moment. It was truly a moment. And I'm just so grateful that I have some of the best. And this moment just solidified my life, my journey as a nurse, that I was meant to be there. I was meant to work in Mount Sinai Hospital, work in Mount Sinai Queens, be a nurse, work with the most amazing team of nurses and my colleagues of leaders. And I had so much help that day with my leadership team, because we all work in a tight space on office, but it was all just meant to be. The stories behind this story is just all meant to be. So I'm just so grateful to be here and be in Mount Sinai Queens, to always show up at work, show up every day as a nurse. We sacrifice so much. We sacrifice our lives, our families, our careers, and we come up and we show up to give compassion.
Yeah.
And thank you for this platform.
Thank you. Thank you, Asha. Thank you, nurses. Thank you to your team who's out there shouting you out and cheering for you. And I'd love to know that there's so many more stories within your group, within your team, about this experience and this moment and others that you share and you celebrate as a well-knit group. Is really wonderful to hear. Thank you, Asha. Really remarkable story. And I hope your employee is doing well.
Thank you. She's progressing. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And Zach, we're going to keep you right here. We're going to go into our next section. It's still out at Queens, the Employee Spotlight section, highlighting some specific work that's happening around the system. And Mount Sinai supply chain leadership for the whole health system recognized Mount Sinai Queens colleague Claire Jasmine Aquino. So let's bring Claire on up and hear this story.
Our incredible director of all things materials management, Claire. Mount Sinai Queens is going through tremendous transformation, which requires hard work, dedication, loyalty, and commitment from its team to make possible. All of these traits can be found in Director of Materials, Claire Jasmine Aquino. From moving her old storeroom to her new location, helping to implement Oracle Cloud and RF Smart last fall, and now embarking on a periodic automatic replenishment optimization project to garner efficiencies for the hospital, Claire demonstrates agility and excellence in her work. A true testament to the confidence that the senior leadership team at Queens has in her is the additional responsibility they took to have Claire manage, from taking over the OR materials aspects to working on cleaning out the 6th floor in preparation for a future ICU. Claire has always welcomed the challenges presented before her. Thank you, Claire, and happy 18th anniversary at Mount Sinai.
18 years, and that sounds like that's 18 years worth of work that you packed into probably the last 6 months or so. Last year, I'm exhausted just hearing that list, Claire. So with so many successful projects listed in this story, can you share what's the approach that you bring to your work that helps you be so successful through every single different challenge you take on, particularly within this transformation at Queens?
Well, coming to work knowing that I have the support of the system leadership, site leadership, and staff helps execute a sound and effective strategy. I am only able to navigate long-term projects and daily issues with the support of my team and leadership. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone at Mount Sinai Queens and my supply chain family, since all accomplishments are a team effort.
Yeah, thank you so much, Claire. I love that you're thanking them for being such supportive leaders, and they're thanking you for they have such confidence in you that they continue to put you on these high impact projects. It's really wonderful to see that that relationship is clearly so strong. As we see, Zach already clearly knows you and appreciates you out at Queens and how he opened and welcomed you. Thanks so much, Claire. Keep up that exceptional work at Queens. All right, thank you. We're going to go on to our next story. It's from Digital and Technology Partners Leadership. Actually, I believe is out at Queens as well for Jack Abune. Let's bring Jack on up. Since it's Digital and Technology Partners, we got my colleague Kathy Gilbert taking the next couple of corporate stories here. So let's have Kathy come on up and share this story for Jack.
Hey, just unmuting myself, and good afternoon, everyone. Jack Abune's unwavering dedication to the Mount Sinai Health System and our users is truly commendable. His ability to remain composed and focused, even in the face of challenges, is a testament to his professionalism and resilience. Jack has an uncanny ability to change directions swiftly and efficiently, ensuring that our team can navigate through any obstacles that come our way. His talent for breaking down complex situations into their core pieces allows for quick remediation and effective problem solving, which has been invaluable to our operations. In addition to his impressive skills and expertise, Jack possesses a cheerful personality that brightens up our workplace. His positive attitude and friendly demeanor make him a pleasure to work with and contribute to a positive and collaborative environment. Thank you, Jack, for your hard work and unwavering support. Your efforts do not go unnoticed, and we are grateful for all that you do.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. And I got to admit, Jack and I were talking backstage beforehand, and I had the question. I wanted to learn more about how he breaks down complex situations into their core pieces. And he said, well, I think Jack could teach a class on this. He's like, I can't do that in a minute. There's a lot to learn and understand about that. So I'm going to be a little more broad, Jack. And, this is a really nice tribute from your leadership. And through all this great work that you do, all the projects you're a part of, what's the personal commitment or the mission statement that drives you in this work and in all your projects?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Steve. Thank you, everyone, for the recognition. I was privileged to be assigned to the DTP BRM group a few years ago. For those of you who don't know, BRM stands for Business Relation Management. I get asked this question all the time. I started at Queens, and I'm work very closely with Mount Sinai Union Square, and now very closely with Mount Sinai South Nassau.
Okay.
But as part of the BRM team, I tend to focus on DTP issues that have the biggest impact, especially when it concerns IT outages or changes. From a technology perspective, we have thousands of servers, networks, large cloud presence, very complex systems. But I always try to break that down simply to present the impact of these outages or changes in a clear and calm way. Customers, and users, they really want to know how it impacts their work, how it impacts our patients, and how they can schedule their work accordingly. I've been at Mount Sinai Health System for over 30 years. I think I may be one of the longest serving DTP employee. And in all that time, I have to say I couldn't be prouder or happier. Work for Mount Sinai. It's a truly incredible team to work with. So once again, thank you for your recognition. It's an honor.
Wow, thanks, Jack. And we need to have an interview with you to hear about what information technology and DTP life was like 30 years ago to today. And now
very different.
Well, really, really wonderful insights. Thank you so much for sharing. Continue that great work. I'm glad to hear your work is expanding out to some new sites as well at South Nassau, at Union Square. Continue to do that excellent work on your projects. And we'll get you to teach that class on how to handle these critical issues as well. All right, thanks. Kathy, stay right here. We got another corporate story. This is the Mount Sinai Health System Command Center. They recognize Samantha Towns. And let's bring Sam on up and hear this excellent story. Hi.
Okay, here we go. Sam Towns, a skilled nursing facility transfer manager at the Clinical Command Center, joined our team in September of 2024. Sam quickly learned our process and agreed to be the point person for our Mount Sinai Hospital rollout. It was courageous for her to be the newest to the team and willing to accept the largest and most complex hospital for rollout. She has now successfully centralized 3 units into the command center and asked to do more to help move these efforts forward. While in the process of recruiting a director, Sam also supports the team by helping escalate and track difficult to place patients. The most common phrases coming from Sam are, "I can do that, I can help, and I can take a first pass." She is always willing to stretch herself in her assignment. She does her work with a smile, receives feedback with grace, and helps move our program ahead with collegiality. We are so happy to have Sam on our team.
Oh, those are great quotes to be known by, Sam. That's how your team feels about you. Now, I also see they really highlighted how you're new to the team, but you're not new to Mount Sinai. About 18 years at Mount Sinai, right? Or a little over. So you've got that what it takes to be successful at Mount Sinai emanating out from you as you took on this new role. But it is still great to see such high praise in this new role as you're still in this first year with this team. So how have you approached this role with enthusiasm and purpose that's driven you to achieve these excellent results so early on?
I think my experience in healthcare at Mount Sinai prepared me for my current role. My enthusiasm comes from seeing the results of my work in front of me and knowing I play a role in helping the patients and their family. To be on a team that shares a mutual goal of growing this new program and seeing the positive impact across the health system is exciting to me and something I'm proud to be a part of. I also want to say that, to be fair, this recognition wouldn't be possible without the support and encouragement of my VP, Esther, my director, Lisa, and the SNF managers. I appreciate them a lot.
SNF, is that how you do the SNF? I had to look it up. Skilled nursing facilities. You call them SNFs?
Yes.
All right, now I've learned something. Well, thank you, Sam. Really, really wonderful. I love your vision statement. And it was Jack had said this too. He said people need to understand what the impact is to help them set that vision. And you talked about it too. He said, understanding the impact, seeing what the future is, what do I want the result to be, and helping you drive towards that. Having that vision statement, that forward thinking ability is excellent.
Thank
Congrats,
you.
Sam. I hope you're enjoying this new role. It sounds like you're doing great.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, thank you. And thank you, Kathy, for sharing that pair of stories. We're going to go to Colette for the next pair. They're both up at Mount Sinai Hospital. So let's bring Colette Watson back. The next story was recognized by system leadership from Support and Ancillary Services. Brittany Bocafuoco is from Mount Sinai Hospital. So let's have Colette share this one.
Amazing. So we are thrilled to recognize inpatient nutritionist Brittany Bocafuoco for her outstanding coordination of National Nutrition Month activities in March. Brittany went above and beyond, working closely with both the food service department and the clinical nutrition team to create engaging and visually appealing displays each week. Her innovative and interactive ideas were a hit with both hospital staff and the community. One of her standout contributions was the creation of a nutrition passport, which encouraged ongoing participation and excitement throughout the month. She dedicated countless hours to assembling the passports and ensuring each table was both informative and eye-catching. Brittany's exceptional organization, teamwork, and attention to detail made this year's National Nutrition Month a great success. Her dedication was exactly what we needed to ignite enthusiasm for food and nutrition, and we truly appreciate her hard work.
Yeah, thank you, Colette, and creativity through that with the passport. I'm someone who very much appreciates the effort it takes to not just put on something, but to really engage people. How do I get their attention? How do I engage them into what's important? And that creativity really sounds like it made an impact. So Brittany, can you tell us about yourself, about your passion for health and nutrition that inspired such great effort and creativity into the events and the experiences you designed during National Nutrition Month?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Congrats to all the other participants. I would say that my passion for nutrition probably started years ago cooking with my mother, my grandmother in the kitchen, but I feel that nutrition is something that we can all relate to. It is a science and can often be complex to understand at times. So I'm always looking for fun ways to kind of break the science down and translate it to make it understandable for all. This year, National Nutrition Month's theme was Food Connects Us. So I really wanted to emphasize how food connects us as people, brings people together, while also honoring and celebrating different cuisines that we might not, know much about or just get a chance to taste every single day. So being that we're in New York City, we got patients admitted to the hospital from all over the world. It's definitely a melting pot. So anytime that nutritionists or dietitians in the hospital can learn about new foods, it's always a great way to stay culturally competent and also sensitive to our patients when delivering patient care. So that's something that we all strive to do here at Mount Sinai Hospital. The food passport in specific was a fun and engaging way to really get staff engaged, even visitors that were just coming to the hospital to taste our samples from all these great countries, and then have them come back to us week after week so that they can learn about new foods, but also learn how to eat healthy too.
Yeah. Well, I love that it wasn't just fun. It was fun and intentional. And I'm a big fan of fun and intentional. You make it something interesting, gets people attention, but there's a very strong purpose to what we're trying to promote and teach and educate around. And you found that perfect balance. Very wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Brittany. Love the story.
Thank you.
Thanks. And Colette, stay right there. I think we just got Monique Lugo backstage. She's from Mount Sinai Hospital Ambulatory Leadership, recognized Monique. So let's bring her back and you can start this story.
Amazing. Thank you, Steve. So the neurology department recognized medical assistant Monique Lugo for her outstanding teamwork, compassion, and dedication to patient care. Patients frequently commend her for the comfort and care she provides, and providers commend her for her positive attitude and willingness to always assist them. She's proficient in all her duties, is hardworking, empathetic, and a quick learner who goes above and beyond to ensure that the clinic runs smoothly. Prior to our RN leave-in, Monique voluntarily learned how to check the AED, lumbar puncture setup, and rang supplies, so she will be able to handle the clinic more efficiently. She also learned the in-basket messaging system, and she ensures that all in-basket messages are answered prior to the end of her shift. Monique exemplifies the qualities of an exceptional healthcare professional, and she sets the stage for every medical assistant. The neurology team are thankful for all her efforts, and we are truly glad to have her on our team.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Colette. Monique, we're so glad we could talk to you today. Can you tell us a little bit about your commitment, the commitment you make to your patients and to your team that inspired you to take on this new learning and these additional responsibilities to help support the department?
I think, hello everyone.
Hi.
Good afternoon, my lovelies. So I just think that if we can learn all trades, no matter the title or not, one man is down, then the outcome won't notice, the patients won't notice because we're helping each other. We're never letting one person fall. So I think if we're a team and we help each other and we just could do little things to help one another, then the patients won't suffer and Mount Sinai will always be number one.
I love it. First of all, I love that we're your lovelies. Second, I know Erica Rubenstein is sitting out there just hearts like this to hear you talk about that teamwork support. The number one driver for all patient experience is the team worked well together, the staff worked well together. And that's what you're saying with intention of my goal is to help the patients, the on stage for the patients, see that we're working well together. There's Erica. Teamwork is what it's all about. So well put and so straight from the heart, Monique. Thank you so much.
Thank you, lovely.
All right. And bookending it with our lovelies. Have a great day, Monique.
Bye.
We'll see you in a bit. Colette, we're going to bring Andres back. We've got a Mount Sinai West ambulatory story for Michelle Patterson. Let's bring Michelle on up. Hi, Michelle, and have Andres come on up and join you.
Absolutely. So Michelle Patterson is an amazing medical office assistant at Mount Sinai West OBGYN practice. Patients frequently note Michelle's warm and kind demeanor and how she makes them feel comfortable and cared for, consistently providing an attentive and reassuring presence throughout their visits. Her manager shared, Michelle is known among her colleagues and providers for her strong work ethic and proactive approach. She arrives each day fully prepared, ready to support providers with efficiency and thoroughness. Her positive and upbeat personality uplifts those around her, contributing to a collaborative and encouraging work environment. Michelle is especially thoughtful when preparing for time off, leaving detailed instructions and making herself available to ensure a smooth transition for any team member covering her responsibilities. Thank you, Michelle, for going above and beyond. We're so grateful to have you in our Mount Sinai West ambulatory team.
Wonderful. Michelle, it sounds like you're not just, like it's not just your patients who feel cared for by you, but also your colleagues. And can you tell us a bit about the personal approach you bring in caring for patients and your colleagues alike?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Michelle. First, I must say thank you very much for acknowledging me. When I first saw the email, I'm like, they're acknowledging me for doing my job. But I humbly, appreciate it. And I like to put myself in people's place first. And I believe in teamwork. When it comes to my colleagues, I believe in teamwork. And it involves sometimes going the extra mile. And our main goal should be, patient care. At the end of the day, patient care should be our main goal. And if, there are cases where you may have to go the extra mile, chip in or do whatever, just to make sure patient care. And with my patients, as I said before, I like to put myself in their place, in their situation, and be compassionate. Be compassionate and, so everybody would feel, they feel comfortable and want to come back and stuff like that. So that's my goal on it.
Really wonderful, Michelle. You weren't just recognized for doing your job, the tasks of your job. You're recognized because it's you doing that job, that you're bringing your personality, your care, your compassion, your teamwork, and who you are as a colleague and as a caregiver in that role is why you're being recognized. So congratulations. We're so glad we got to share that story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. And we're going to go into our final section now. It looks like we're probably doing a little bit of overtime. I think we've got 5 stories to go. Hang with us. These are exceptional stories. This last section is all from colleagues, peer-to-peer appreciation. A colleague reached out and said, I really want to highlight what this colleague did. And we're going to start at Morningside. Andres, if you're ready, let's bring Aaron Longo up and go right into this first appreciation from colleague story.
So, a colleague submitted a star recognition to express how Aaron Longo, a social worker on 8 West, went above and beyond to ensure a patient's experience went well, even after discharge. They write, over the many years of working in this honored establishment, Aaron Longo is one of the most impressive social workers I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with. Today, she proved what it takes to go above and beyond the call of duty as a social worker when she made sure a patient's property was delivered to the patient's destination personally. She did not hesitate to make sure the patient's wheelchair reached the destination by delivering it herself. Ask yourself, how many people would have taken that charge upon themselves? This is a total star quality. I'm sure her administrative superiors are just as proud and appreciative as I am. There's only one Erin, and 8 West is blessed to have her as a member of our family. Congratulations, Erin.
Only one Aaron, the best ever worked with. So it's high praise from a colleague. And Aaron, can you tell us a little bit more about this situation and what the personal commitment is that you have that led you to go above and beyond on behalf of this patient?
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me. Second, I think it's the most important thing to recognize our colleagues that we have here. I have a really great team of leadership, case managers, doctors, especially the nurses that I get to show up and work next to day in and day out. And they make it really easy to do the work that we do. The most important thing for me as a social worker is really kind of advocating for a patient and figuring out what matters most to them while making sure I treat them with the same respect that I would want to be treated with. For this particular patient, what mattered most to him was his assistive device. That was really kind of his key to his independence and his freedom outside of the hospital. So I think I did what any one of us would have done and really stepped up and made sure that he had someone that he trusted, that he was able to entrust with his belongings and make sure that his discharge plan was safe and effective for him as a unique individual. It's really special to have the opportunity to do that for so many patients.
Yep, found a way for them as well. Wonderful, Aaron. And we have a special spot in our hearts for social workers in talent development and learning because our leader, Diane Adams, who's our chief learning officer, is a social worker from the beginning of her career. So we really do see what social workers do for our patients and who they are as colleagues. And we really celebrate you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron. Next up is Ketsia George, Mount Sinai Health System Radiology Leadership. Recognize Ketsia. Now, she's a Mount Sinai Hospital employee, but was thanked by Brooklyn leadership for work she's doing out at Mount Sinai, Brooklyn. So I'm going to have Katrina Bravo from our Brooklyn team come on up and read this story for Ketsia.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to read the story of appreciation to Kezia George written by our Director of Radiology here, who has worked at the Hess Center for Science and Medicine for approximately 14 years. Kezia has significantly contributed to the success of Mount Sinai Brooklyn's inpatient MRI program since its inception 2 years ago. As an MRI certified technologist with extensive experience, she partnered with MSP Radiology Management to oversee equipment installation, staff education, and workflow optimization. Even today, she continues to provide ongoing support in the installation of applications and assisting with protocols, and she often goes out of her way to make a difference. A recent example of this occurred when an MRI patient, which should have been sent to MSB, was delivered to a different Mount Sinai site. Kezia single-handedly tracked down the MRI part and personally delivered it to Mount Sinai, Brooklyn. We express our sincere appreciation to Kezia for her excellence in service and for demonstrating the true spirit of One Mount Sinai.
Yeah, thanks, Katrina. That's what I caught too. This is a real One Mount Sinai example of the One Mount Sinai spirit. So, Ketsia, what is the commitment to your work that inspires you to go above and beyond for your Mount Sinai colleagues, even at different sites, as we saw in this story?
First, thank you, Steve, for being honored today. From among many inspiring colleagues, especially proud to have been supported the launch of Mount Sinai Brooklyn, the very first MRI scanner. This was a milestone for Brooklyn, the Brooklyn family, and even more meaningful to me because I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I know the community, and I know how much access to high quality imaging mean for our patients and our families. As always, none of this happens alone, and I want to thank Belinda Burrell, the director of MSB Radiology, for always welcoming me to her site and for the partnership throughout this journey. To John Hart, Nisha Sullivan, and Ashraf Rafiq, their leadership, mentorship, and trust in me every day makes all the difference. I thank you for believing in me and setting the bar high for this example. Just to answer your question, what inspires me most is knowing that the work we do directly impacts patients' lives and their families, the teams who care for them. I was raised with the belief that if you're going to show up, you show up with purpose. So I thank you, everyone.
Beautiful, beautiful statement. You're really hitting the theme of this day is teamwork and really showing appreciation for each other and recognizing the impact. Really putting that end in mind of what is the impact of this work that drives and inspires you is great to hear. Love that final quote too, Ketsia. Thank you for all the work you're doing at Mount Sinai Hospital and for our colleagues out at Brooklyn.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you, Kezia.
Thank you. Thank you, Katrina. We're going to the networks next. We got 3 great stories left to share. Let's have Rebecca Asmussen come on up representing our network practices. First, Diana Prillock is our first story from the Network Patient Support Center. Let's go right to it.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. An employee wrote to express appreciation for Senior Operations Manager Diana Prillock, who oversees our Hicksville office, saying, Diana has a unique ability to search out the best talents in each staff member and build a cohesive team that best serves the patients, providers, and office staff we support. Diana embodies a contagious optimism that springs forth to her staff and then to the patients. I always feel accomplished and helpful at the end of each shift. As kind as Diana is, her expectation of excellence in the care we provide is top tier. She creates a safe environment that is conducive to learning in challenging situations and has a proven track record of combining creativity, agility, and empathy that yields positive results in our office. Diana, you leave an indelible mark on the world every day as a leader, and I will be forever proud to be a part of your team. Diana, we wholeheartedly agree with Nikita's sentiments and thank you for being an exceptional leader who prioritizes compassion, kindness, and understanding.
Yeah.
Well done.
Wonderful. I was talking to Diana backstage beforehand and how much I love this message coming from a member of the team for their manager. And my favorite line is how they always feel accomplished and helpful at the end of each shift. They provide that experience every day. And Diana, I'm wondering if you can share the sense of purpose or the mission statement that you really aim to inspire within your team that helps them feel that impact and the value of their important work.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. So at our call center, patient care is our top priority. We always look to encourage our agents to treat every patient as they would a family member, because at some point we've all been in their shoes, and regardless of the journey. Kindness and compassion must be at the core of every call. It's not just about answering phones, it's about making a difference. It's a lot deeper than that. We set aside our own concerns at the start of every day to ensure that we provide the best possible experience for our patients. I consistently remind the staff of the profound impact they have each day, helping countless patients. It's why we do what we do, truthfully. Customer service, especially in healthcare, it's not always easy. I think a lot of people do know that, but it's incredibly rewarding. As working in the call center, we are the first point of contact for a lot of our patients, and we're responsible for shaping their first impression of Mount Sinai. So for new patients, calling that first interaction can really set the tone for their entire experience going forward. This is why we stress the importance of our role. Our patients, they rely on us, and it is our responsibility to support them with the highest level of care and dedication. So we have the potential to make a real difference, and we should always, always strive to serve them the best of our ability. I also wanted to congratulate all the other participants.
Thanks, Diana. And I love it. It's not just answering the phones, it's making a difference. And that you said, and sharing that every single day, reminding every day, this is the impact of our work. This is the difference we're making throughout the work that we're doing. Really, really wonderful. And it's obviously making a big impact on the staff. Thank you so much for sharing, Diana. And Rebecca, we're going to stay with you. Naima Rianne is here from the network practice. This was recognized by a star. Let's go right into that one. Hi.
Yep, a colleague submitted a star recognition for Naima Rianne that states, I would like to recognize Naima for her response to a medical emergency on Thursday morning, March 20th. Working with staff to stabilize a patient in distress, her quick response, recognition for the severity of the medical emergency, immediate actions, and effective treatment resulted directly in a positive outcome. Naima acted in a professional manner, was compassionate, and projected a calming influence to all involved. Thank you, Naima, for all that you do.
Yeah, really stressing the calming influence part of it. And really, this story went step by step through the medical emergency. So, Naima, they highlighted your professionalism, your compassion, your calming influence. Can you talk about your approach in this moment, in this emergency, that led to the positive outcome for the patient?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for recognizing me today. I appreciate it, and congratulations to everybody. I just believe it's always a teamwork behind every success. And at this point, I would like to thank you, everybody, all my coworkers. I will start with my office manager, Ms. Tina. I will go through my supervisor, Ms. Marisol. And I will thank you very much, all the doctors, the wonderful doctors I work with, especially Dr. Freilich, cardiology department, all my coworkers. And I believe, again, it's a teamwork. We feel like we are family more than we are coworkers. And it makes the day goes perfect. Everybody's happy, and we always have a success in whatever we're doing. Thank you so much, and big thank you to Jane. I learn from her every day. She's a wonderful coworker, and she have big and huge experience. Thank you again, and it's always teamwork.
Thank you. I'm assuming that's the person who wrote the star for you that you're thanking, and it's coming right back. So I'd love to hear that. That's such a close bond between your work unit and how you feel like family. And when you feel like family, you feel like you're home when you work here.
Yes,
so it's
that's
just so
true.
wonderful to hear.
That's
Thank you
true.
so much. All right, and thank you, Rebecca. Hey, Amy, you started us off. Let's end us off. Let's bring it home. We have Heather Reese as our final story. Mount Sinai Health System Laboratory Leadership recognized Heather. And Amy, let's go to the big finale. Heather, thanks for your patience. We're ready.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Department of Pathology Leadership described Administrative Manager Heather Reese as being the definition of a team player. Whether she's onboarding new physicians, lending a helping hand, or fielding questions at a moment's notice, Heather is consistently responsive, reliable, and deeply supportive of her colleagues. Her extensive knowledge of both operations and finance plays a critical role in the overall success of the department, and she is always the first to raise her hand to volunteer as a point person for departmental events and initiatives. Heather wears many hats and handles countless essential tasks behind the scenes, performing each one with thoroughness, professionalism, and care. It is work done by employees like Heather that enables all of the other work to happen. Heather, thank you for all that you do. Your dedication and positive spirit make a lasting impact, and we're so grateful to have you as part of the team.
Oh, wonderful. Heather, so leadership describes you as the definition of a team player. How would you describe the commitment that you make to your team and your department?
Thank you, Steve, and thank you to everyone. This is such an inspiring format to be recognized, and I'm grateful for everything. As working as an administrative manager in pathology, I have the opportunity to work with over 100 faculty physicians. I'm working with leadership, lab employees, residents and trainees, clinical and research, and I'm a liaison with departments like medical staff, the dean's office, accounts payable, international personnel. It goes on, I know. But my department has come to know that I'm a resource they can come to with navigating the many different opportunities and challenges and resources throughout the health system. So I'm grateful to be able to assist them and for the work that they help with me, and similar to everyone else that spoke today, keeping patient care as the ultimate goal in mind with everything that we do. So thank you.
Wonderful. Heather, I mean, you're right at our mission statement. Compassionate patient care is the start, and that's what drives you. But seamless coordination are the next two words in our mission statement. And that's what you're named how many different departments and areas and people you're working with, and who do they go to help seamlessly understand and coordinate that is you as that resource. And it's so critical into our success, here at your location, across our health system, to have access to someone who really understands it and knows it and can be relied on for that seamless coordination. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Congrats on the honor. We're so glad we got to share your story. Okay, thank you. And thank you to Amy, and thank you to all our presenters. And one last big round of applause for our June episode celebrants. These are our April stories from the huddle. All of our May stories are collected. I'm going to look at them Monday. I'm going to dive into our May stories, and we'll be ready to share those with you in July. July 18th is our next episode. Until then, enjoy a beautiful summer weekend in New York or wherever you're calling in and listening from. Enjoy your weekends. Thank you for joining Beyond the Badge, everyone. Have a great day.